welcome to the Petrello Report, my weekly reminder that I own razors, and yes, I perhaps should use them. This week we sat down with Mrs. Hager for a really fun conversation about counseling and school and life.
Hello, we're here today on the Petrello Report with Mrs. Hager. Mrs. Hager, how are you doing today?
Hi, Mr. Petrello. I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing really well. I'm so happy to have you on here on the report today. What have you been up to lately?
Oh my gosh. Working, more working, and then parenting. Similar to Mr. Rohde, it's the life of working and parenting, and then helping. I have 2 children, and so helping them with their work. And then in between, we try to, have family time.
Yeah, and how old are your kids?
I have a 2nd grader who is actually turning 8 on Saturday. So he is having his birthday in the middle of all of this, like so many people. And then my youngest son is, he'll tell you, 4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
That half's important.
Yes, pretty soon it will become 4 3/4, and then we will hear 3/4 also.
In the 3/4. Well, happy birthday to your oldest this weekend.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for him or anything?
We have a couple of surprises, yes, but he's kicking around here somewhere. I booted them out of the house, so they're outside and they know exactly what time mommy's very special appearance on the Petrello Report starting. The esteemed Petrello Report, I had to make them leave the house. When I'm just recording videos for my classroom, they're around and they're banging around in the background. But for this, they needed to leave. And so they're around, but they will inevitably come inside. As soon, literally, the time that to the minute that we were starting, the front door opened and someone came inside. It never fails.
They got booted out.
All of that to say, I can't talk about the surprise, because even though they're not supposed to be here, they'll come in right when I talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want you to ruin the surprise.
Yeah.
We'll just have to hear later what the surprise was.
Okay.
Just keep it a secret.
We can edit it in. I could tell you, or I could write it, and your editor could do some work and could do it before the Petrello Report airs. But if I'm not saying it in the middle of my living room, that my kids won't hear it.
Okay, maybe we can check with him and see if he can't make that happen. We'll throw up maybe some writing or a picture of something.
Ooh, a drawing.
They're pretty good at that. The crew's pretty good. So drawing, whatever you want, we'll make them do it.
A drawing would be great. I think if the editors could do that, it would blow me away.
You want them to draw something?
Oh yeah. I can email you, and then
we actually have a different. If you really watch the credits closely, we have a different art director for the show, which you'll notice in the credits is the only name that is different from the rest of the credits.
I do my homework, and so I did closely monitor the credits last week, and I did see some variations on Mr. Petrello, and then I did see one other name in there. Yeah.
Yeah, my fiance is actually the art director of the show. She made the opening, the very first thing you see, the Petrello Report, and then the featuring, and then she makes me write the person's name every week on the piece of paper,
purple highlighter
with the marker. Yeah. So I do that.
Yeah. Well, I hope she's glad that you signed her up for it.
I agree. She's gonna have a job. She's gonna love. She's almost done with her schoolwork anyway, so she'll need something to do. Anyway, let's tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from. You're new with us this year at school, so.
I am. Where do I come? It seems like a simple question. I move around a lot, though, so I've been in a lot of different places. I don't come directly here from one place. I was thinking about this the other day, and the house that we're in now, we've been in for going on like about 4 years. And I literally cannot remember the last time that I've lived 4 years in the same place prior to like, no, I really don't even know.
Wow.
So I've moved around a lot. I travel a lot. I moved a lot growing up. I went to like 4 different colleges. I have lived abroad. I've moved a lot.
Well, where did you live abroad?
Well, I studied abroad in Australia and then decided that after I graduated college, I wanted to live abroad somewhere. And so then I went and I lived in London for just under a year. I bought a round trip ticket. And so I bought the return ticket for like as far out as I possibly could. And then I got there and I wished that I didn't buy the return ticket, that I just did like 2 different, one way there and then buy another one at some point. But so then I lived in London for about a year. And those are the places that I've lived abroad, but I've been to lots of other places. Like when I was in London, I went to Greece for a month and a half and camped in a tent working for sea turtles. And I've spent some time in Kenya and then just other traveling stuff.
Wow. We could have a whole report just about all this. I didn't know any of it. This was one of the reasons.
You need a globe.
I know. Wow. I always wanted a globe for my room at school. So I don't know why or whenever I would use it for, but I always just kind of wanted one. I almost stole one from an extra classroom once. Maybe I shouldn't say that on the report. Maybe I'll edit that.
Yeah.
I didn't actually take.
I have one you could borrow.
I just feel like it'd be a nice thing. Like I could be like an evil genius and sit with my globe. Be like, yes, children, sing the songs.
From here. And then you could just like point to the spot. Yeah.
I think that would be the one thing I'd use it for. So that's really interesting. I was really happy to have you on here because I feel like I don't know very much about you. And we could just spend a whole time talking about your travels. But you are a school counselor.
I am.
And so since you are our school counselor, I wanted to give you a little test with your counseling skills. I want to kind of see what you're made of here. So I've written up here a little scenario that is based on true events.
Okay.
But of course, to maintain privacy of the people, so I have changed the names here of some people. So I'm going to read you my little scenario, and we'll get your counselor take on this. So
okay.
This scenario is actually about a teacher. We'll call this teacher, I don't know. We'll call him Mr. P.
Okay.
Mr. P. Yeah. Teacher, just a random teacher, just change the name. Mr. P is having a rough morning at school. He dropped his name tag in a puddle in the parking lot. His kindergarten class kept screaming like wild animals, no matter what he did. His 3rd grade class just wanted to talk about pirates instead of doing any work. He was just having a really rough time. Now, Mr. P, after this class, he hears that someone left 2 boxes of donuts in the teacher's room, and he goes very quickly before his next class to get one to cheer him up. Upon arriving in the teacher's room, Mr. P finds another teacher. We'll just call him Mr. R. Mr. R. We'll go with Mr. R. Just randomly. With Mr. R has 2 donuts in his hands and sugar all down his shirt. Mr. P looks into the box of donuts and he sees that none are left. Mr. P is quite mad at Mr. R for eating all of the donuts and doesn't know what to do, for this is not the first time Mr. R has done this sort of thing. Now, as a counselor, what do you think just this fictional teacher, Mr. P, should do in this situation?
I think Mr. P and Mr. R could benefit from some of the lessons that I do with my students, with our students in our building. So, for example, I think Mr. R would want to work on recognizing how other people are feeling. So identify.
Yeah, he really should.
Right? Don't you think you should? Like, caring about other people is really important. That's a lesson that Mr. R should learn because it's going to help him a lot in life. And so for instance, Mr. R could try to look at the body language of Mr. P and the facial expression and notice how he's feeling. And that might help him to show some kindness and some compassion, which, you know, sometimes Mr. R should do a little bit. And Mr. P, it's a good thing our Mr. R was already on your show, or I think it's good I'm not going to hear from him.
It's probably, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. P could work on iMessages.
What's an iMessage?
An iMessage. It's telling how you feel. And there's 3 parts. The first is I feel, and you name your feeling. So like Mr. P could say, I feel like disappointed or mad when you eat all of the donuts all the time. Can you please stop that? Or I need you to, if you need to be more assertive. So yeah, an iMessage for Mr. P and some kind of awareness of other people for Mr. R.
That's pretty good. I'm impressed with your counseling here.
Thanks.
I feel like some people watching this, perhaps in their home right now, might want to take some notes. Just saying.
Well, you know, I have an open door policy. So anytime anybody wants to come on in and, you know, observe a lesson or two, they can feel free to do that.
That's important. That's good to know, too. So we have here my last little segment here. You, as we talked about earlier, you're new to our school here at Fabius this year. So I kind of have a couple quick questions about the school and some of your feelings. Yeah, this is going to be good. What is
like
your
trivia, right?
No, it's not trivia. I don't know any sort of trivia about the school. That wouldn't go well for me.
Okay, I was gonna say,
this is more of this is an opinion type question.
Oh.
What is your favorite room in the entire elementary school?
Mine. My room.
Well, that was an easy question or easy answer. All right. Okay, do you here? This is kind of two-parter. Do you eat the cafeteria's lunch often or ever?
No. Okay, so I don't eat lunch that often. I should, but I don't make the time for it. So, you know, sometimes I wander into the teacher lounge, right? Our space sometimes during lunch, but not that often. And then, but when I do, and I see Mrs. McCarthy eating these meals that look amazing, and I'm always like, where did you get that from? Or because she's across the hall from me, she'll be coming in with this breakfast thing and I never know where she gets it. And then she's always telling me, you got to look at the board because the cafeteria has these great things available. And I don't even know that they exist, but I see them all the time with Mrs. McCarthy and they always look good. So I think next year I'm going to try to do more of that.
Yeah, they are quite good sometimes. I didn't eat really the school lunch my first year either, but I have more and they do have a lot of good things, because that makes my next question irrelevant. What was your favorite cafeteria meal? I'm just going to cross it right out. Not important. What is your favorite parking?
Wait, but I can say they made those cookies. They made the cookies, the gingerbread men with the hearts in them, and I ate a bunch of those. Those were good.
So we got the cookies, I guess. You make nice cookies sometimes.
The baked goods I'm able to get. It's just not for meals, but I can eat junk food.
Nice. Okay, here's one. What is your favorite parking spot? at the school?
Well, whatever one I happen upon. So I park out back, and then I found myself kind of like in the spring thinking maybe I should park on the side, like, or out front, because it's probably a better way to go to get to my room. But because I started out parking out back, I think now that's the habit. So I think I'll park out back always, but I think that probably parking on the side and out front is a better spot for me to park. Because then
you never know.
The front door and around the hall, but
I guess you could. I always park in the back because my room's right there, and I have a specific spot in the back too.
I know
A lot of people have their spots,
and so
I like to park right next to the giant pole thing.
Yes, and I think just being being the newbie that I am, I'm not sure that I have a particular spot. I just kind of park wherever in between everybody else's specific spot. But now I'm wondering if sometimes I throw off the parking because I just somewhere, and like maybe someone is thinking, "Oh, Mrs. Hager, you took my spot again," and then they have to park somewhere else, but I never even knew. I know. Huh. Sorry.
If anyone's ever mad because they lost their parking spot, they know who to blame now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mrs. Hager, thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
I felt so honored to get the invitation to appear on the Petrello report. So it's really, the pleasure is all mine.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wait, I have to show you. I brought a special mug today because I know you usually have a mug that's,
that's nice.
Special one, and you do a lot of laughing in your reports, so I brought this one for you.
Oh, that's so nice. My mug today is actually not special whatsoever. It happens, it's just blue. Of all the days,
have the blue mug,
man, was this one.